Hello viewers, wonderful to be with you again on this wonderful short clip, and I want you to get something very important from here because this week we have a package for you and we will be presenting to you about two of my wonderful mentors. I have a life coach and a business mentor. Remember, I shared with you the importance of mentorship, learning and getting wisdom from those who have gone ahead of us. So the first one that you might wish to also check out, his book is Bishop Dr. Joshua H.K. Banda, and you'll be able to look at his book entitled Community Transformation, Revisiting Discipleship Foundations for Now and the Next Generation. And you would also want to learn from my mentor, Dumisani Ncube, who talks about Africa must think, and you'll be able to find great insights from there. But this week, here are the clips for you.
Educate yourself about yourself. There's something that we don't pay attention to. We look at getting academic education. We spend so much time in university, college, secondary schools just to get this academic education, which is important, but it has its place. And sometimes we take so much time to get spiritual education, which is important. We go to church, very, very important. It equally has its space. We also take a lot of time to gain experience, which could be informal education, which is equally great, and that has its own space. But there's something that we seem not to pay attention to, which I believe is one of the most important forms of education, and this is personal education. This is where you take deliberate time to learn about yourself. You take deliberate time to know your strengths, to know your weaknesses, to know what you're good at, what you're not good at. You see, we have a number of us that have not paid attention to learn about themselves, that have not paid attention to invest in knowing what it is that they are good at individual level. As such, if I was to ask to say, what are you good at? Some of you have no idea. What are you not so good at? Some of you have no idea. So I would really encourage you to take a moment now going forward, just to be deliberate about learning yourself. What is your likes? What are your dislikes? What is it that you are extremely good at? What is it that you can sharpen on? Because you need to know that every person has a known part about themselves. They have an unknown part about themselves. They have the hidden part about themselves, and they have the unsharpened part about themselves, where there is this component that could be sharpened to become great, but it is not sharpened. There's a part that is known about you and you even know it. There's a part that is unknown about you which is yet to be discovered. Then there is the hidden part of yourself which you have not really brought out, which is yet to be discovered. So with that said, I can give a little example about myself. I am not so good when it comes to admin work. Just the details of looking at things in a detailed way, I do not have the patience to do that. So I'm not good when it comes to admin work, and that I have discovered about myself. What am I good at? I am good at sales and marketing and whatnot. That is my space. So I'm not good at this, I'm good at that. Not good at admin work, I'm good at sales and marketing. So what I then need is then to find partners or work with people who are good at this aspect so that they can compensate at this part that I'm not good at. In a similar way, there are those that have, approached, maybe they want to work with me in a way, or they would love to invite me for a speaking engagement, be it a church or corporate organization. There's always someone who will handle that aspect. So when someone talks to me about speaking and whatnot, I'll say, okay, fine, so get in touch with this line. This is the person who will handle this. Because I know that I'm not good with admin work, I can end up confirming that I'm coming, well, which is something that I almost did. You confirm that I am coming, I'll be there, all right, oh, dead. But because I'm not as organized in that space, you find that maybe I've even confirmed 2 places, or maybe I even forget, on the day when the day arrives. But to compensate for my weakness, I then find someone who will handle that aspect very well and remind me that no, there is this thing taking place, or remind me again, is the presentation ready, or is the PowerPoint ready, and what? Why? Because I know my weakness. I'm not good at this, so I need someone to compensate for this. Every person must identify what they are good at and what they are not good at, so that you then concentrate on things that you are good at. Now here's the trick, and here's something that I want you to pick from this. Once you know what you're good at and what you're not good at, provided you are now in your 20s, 25, in your 30s, the key thing is this: it is no longer your role now to begin saying, no, let me improve at what I'm not good at so that I can also be good at it. Just pause and say, what I'm not good at, I'll find ways of compensating on this, but build on that which you are good at. If you are a great salesperson, build on that. Well, you can always find a way of mitigating some of these things that you are not good at so that you can be a bit holistic, but concentrate on what you are good at, sharpen that, and become great at it. People we celebrate them because they became so good at one thing. If it is a basketball player, it is not an issue of being very good at basketball, rugby, football, and what they became so good at basketball. In fact, when they go to basket, they also became so good in a particular space. Same like football. They became good in football, they sharpened themselves in football, but even in football itself, they became so good at one thing, which is either being a striker, midfielder, or defender. In fact, even after choosing to be a striker, they became so good as, is it the left wing, the right wing, or the center? You choose one thing and you become so good at it, and you'll be celebrated for that. Tell me one footballer that you know of who is so good in the whole pitch of football, or one who is a good footballer but is also good at other sports. You won't find any. So in a similar way, you look at yourself and say, this is the route I want to take, and hit it so well. Find a way of compensating these other aspects, but hit one thing and hit it well. But the challenge that we seem to have is that some of us have not discovered what we are good at. Some of us don't even realize that this is my strength, this is my weakness. You have not discovered, you are just moving there. And as a result, you then end up being mediocre. You've not discovered whether you are a leader, or whether you are good at being led, whether you are good at sales, whether you are good at admin. What are you good at? Take a moment to educate yourself about yourself.